Hi, this is Qoheleth with Chuck Frank, and this is a study of the wisdom writings of Solomon, a man who lived 3,000 years ago and was considered to be the wisest man on the planet. This is Q6, a message for you. The end of the wise and the fool. Then I turned myself to consider wisdom and madness and folly. For what can the man do who succeeds the king? Only what he has already done. Then I saw that wisdom excels folly as light excels darkness. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. Yet I myself perceived that the same event happens to them all. So I said in my heart, as it happens to the fool, it also happens to me. And why was I then more wise? Then I said in my heart, this also is vanity. For there is no more remembrance of the wise than of the fool forever. Since all that now is will be forgotten in the days to come. And how does a wise man die? As the fool. That's not encouraging. Not meant to be. These are setups to get us to think about the fact that all of our striving is pointless. And here's why. Here's from this same chapter later on. For God gives wisdom and knowledge and joy to a man who is good in his sight. I spent over 20 years working in New York City and working in a field where I was around a lot of extremely wealthy people and knew all the details of their lives, and I cannot say that I saw many who had wisdom, many had knowledge, and almost none had joy. And those three things you need to have a fulfilling life, because if you have God-given wisdom, God-given knowledge, and God-given joy, then God's giving you a gift as a reward for your endeavors. But your endeavors don't come first. You have to seek God first. You can't get those three things, not the godly version of those three things, unless you seek God first. Listen again, for God gives wisdom and knowledge and joy to a man who is good in his sight. What Solomon recites to us is, I'm looking at all the things I do, and ultimately, I end this race at the same place the fool does. What he's saying is, you're a fool if you leave God out of the equation. So, how do you get God in the equation? Especially if you have been king in your life the whole time. If you're God in your life, and your life is all about getting ahead and amassing more assets and all the things that our culture values, and yet they don't equate to happiness. And many times they equate to all kinds of problems within the relationships and families and everything. And ultimately, the true measure of success is your inventory of relationships when you breathe your last breath. And if you don't think that's true, I can just tell you that in speaking with so many pastors and many doctors and people who are at the bedside of very accomplished people, and they all say the same thing. They don't say, I wish I could just schedule one more meeting. No. They all say, I'm so sorry, that I spent so much time in the gathering of assets and power. And I would have been much wiser to have invested that in the relationships with people around me. My grandmother used to say to me all the time, if you get to the end of your life and you can count the number of people who actually care about you on one hand, then you have lived a blessed life. And I used to listen to that and go, okay, she just didn't get it, because I got a lot of friends and we're having a lot of fun. I don't see this gathering of relationships ever slowing down, so I don't understand what she's saying. And now I'm in the last season of my life and I go, oh yeah, I so get that. She was right. But I don't think we have to accept that. I don't think we have to accept her limitation on our inventory of meaningful relationships. Because if you seek God's face, and if he provides you wisdom and knowledge and joy, then something else comes with that. And that is that when God blesses us, he expects us to bless others. So think about what the world would be like if you sought God, he blessed you, and then you blessed 5 other people. And then they did the same thing. The calculus of that goes wild. It would absolutely change the world. So how do you do this? How do you even start this if you're somebody who has no relationship with God? Well, that's why we've created this site. It's for you. It's a free gift to you to say, okay, how do I start? Here's a great way to start. Here's how I started, because I was in my 40s before I came to a saving knowledge of Christ. Start with a proverb. Whatever the date of the month it is, go to that proverb. They're all recorded on the site, and just listen to it. It's a 5-minute investment. You don't have to work it. You just have to listen to it. Think of it as an infusion of God's wisdom. Every day, just 5 minutes. Do it for 1 month, and you'll be a different person at the end of that time. I guarantee it. It's the most passive, easy, and pleasant way to be blessed by God. You can do it. I know you can do it. Now go and get some.